As promised from yesterday, we are going to talk about, can interfaith marriages work? Yep, that's what we're talking about today. Uh, it's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's really an open communication day. We did discuss yesterday after talking about the Gospel of Thomas. People want to have some questions about interfaith marriages. Can they work? Relationships? We're going to talk about those things today. If you're finding me for the first time, then we deconstruct religion for the most part on this channel. I own a cigar shop, so I smoke cigars on this channel. If you don't like it, you should leave. Uh, Simple as that. I'm very direct, straightforward. We're gonna have a nice, respectful conversation today. We both on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Uh, Normally, okay. So Fridays is kind of a free for all day that we just have general conversation on the podcast. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, free conversation. Subject matter could be about anything, reserved as far as growing in spirituality or just how you live your life. When it comes to Tuesday we do what's wrong with the Bible, and we break down it as we read through it. Wednesday is book club day. Right now, we are doing the Gospel of Thomas. Some things we like, some things we don't like, depending upon its esoteric nature. And uh, I know that the people from yesterday who said they wanted to talk about this subject matter today about interfaith marriages, I best see them pop up real soon because they know this is about the time that we get started. If shout me out. Where you at? Where you at? Introduce yourself. I like to know who I'm talking to. Now, I do appreciate your comments. I appreciate any gifts on the TikTok, stars on Facebook, and thanks on YouTube. Ah, I gotta tell y'all, I don't know where y'all at, but I'm in Stone Mountain, Georgia. It's hot as balls out there, goddamn. When I tell y'all it was hot, the chocolate, the chocolate melted on the way over here. The chocolate was just melting all the way over here. It was hot. And then I had to stop and get some gas. It was hot. And I had to stop and got to grocery store and get some water. It's hot. And then we had a hailstorm yesterday. After I finished the live yesterday, we're sitting here chilling, at the lounge like we do. And then all of a sudden we start having, I think it's raining. I go outside to put the top back up on my car. Thankfully, right at the beginning, something hit me in my leg. I thought, oh, damn, that was a heavy raindrop. Boom. Next thing I know, it's hail. It started hailing out there. So 90 degrees in hell. Hey, Crystal from New Jersey. Skybox coming out of Memphis. What's up, Skybox? Grand Rising. The usual suspects are piling in for us to have this conversation. And one of the main reasons I think that we're having this conversation today is because a lot of people who are going through deconstruction from religion, yes, hail was dropping. I took a video and everything. Um, it's on the Facebook channel and TikTok. Yeah, I posted it on YouTube as well. Yeah, I took a video. I said that, oh, Donald Trump came to Atlanta and now it's hail falling. But it was only falling here, like right here. So of course some people was like, no, that's God trying to tell you something. Grand Rising Morris, how you doing? So, and it's interesting. We're gonna talk about this. Um, and it just so happened I'm getting ready to start working with somebody who's about to go through this. Yeah, actually, one of my clients that I'm gonna start working with at the end of this month, they're about to go through this process. They're deconstructing from religion, but their spouse is still religious. Of course, one of the natural concerns is, can the marriage survive? Can it work? That's what we want to talk about today. But of course, I want to look at it and try to get it from the perspective of how we can make it work. Now, I already have told them it ain't gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy at all. Not even a little bit. And I hope I can get. I know on Facebook, well, I know on TikTok people can come into the chat and talk about it. But can you make it work? Now I've been in several relationships myself where I am like I am, not in faith. Okay, Crystal. Oh, we got Crystal on here. What's your favorite cigar? Not this one, but this is a good morning cigar though. I don't have a favorite because I like a lot of them. Toscanos are all great. Um, I love the Toscanos. Um, when I get my production back online, my cigar, my Nicaraguan 1111, um, any of my fathers, yeah, it's a bunch of them, man. I like a bunch of them. I don't have a favorite. I know what I'm drinking, what I'm eating. Crystal said she's married to a Pentecostal pastor for 13 years. It's been hard. So you deconstructed where you so oh Crystal, I wish you was over on TikTok because I would like for you to talk about this thing. Are you on TikTok, Crystal? Are you on TikTok? Do you have a TikTok account? Because I would love to actually hear Crystal's um, thought process, what she's experienced. Damn, she ain't got one. Let me see. Well, think about it. Were you so? Because I would have a couple of questions. Like, were you married? You've been married for 13 years, Pentecostal. Were you Pentecostal at the time frame that y'all got married? Um, or did you change after you got married? Do you feel like y'all are still married for the sake of his position? How do y'all respect each other's viewpoints? There's a bunch of questions I would love to ask you. I know asking you this way it takes too long. You don't have TikTok. That's all right. But that is an interesting thing. See, because I look at it from a bunch of different. It's a bunch of different ways that this can go, and I always say that heaven is in the details. I've never been too keen on that the devil is in the details. I always say heaven is in the details because in the details is where you get your answers, is where you get your truths, and things of that nature. Uh, because it's different if you and the person came into the relationship in that same religion and then one of you change. That's one scenario. It's another scenario when one person was religious and the other person wasn't, but they still decided to get together. That's different. Those are two very different um, things. And then there's the rare situation, which was my situation, where you meet the person, you're in it, you're trying to be in it, but they go through the process and see you coming out of it. Because most of the time, you start out, hey, you meet somebody, y'all both Christians, y'all both Muslims, y'all both whatever. And then one of y'all start studying, one of y'all start coming out of it, whatever the reason that initiates the process. And then it's over. And it's not always over, but most of the time it's going to be over. And then what happens when there's children involved? You see, I had those. I've told you guys before. I had those conversations before I had kids. The conversation was, I'm not having children if they have to be raised up in this religion, and that's the only religion they will have a chance to choose for themselves. I wasn't going to allow it to be forced on them. Most people don't think about that. They just want to have some kids. They just want to have some kids. They ain't thinking about that sort of thing. Then you got some people trying to get them to change it, and we're going to pray it away, or we're going to go to counseling or something. Clint said, Grand Rising Coach. Yes, sir. Grand Rising Clint. Yes, it's hard, but all relationships are hard or challenging, and I think the enlightened one in the relationship can see better, hopefully, how to navigate the relationship to a conductive future or conclusion. Um, yeah, that's how it should be. But let me throw a little caveat in there, Clinton, Mr. Hall. Do you think it matters if the enlightened person is the man or the woman? Think about it. Think about the scenario. If the enlightened person is the man, if the enlightened person is the woman, how well received will that enlightenment be? Can she lead him, or is he going to be stuck on that ego trip? You're right. Marriage is hard no matter what. Relationships are hard. They can be hard. I don't think they should be as hard. I think we don't pick right. And that's why the majority of relationships are hard. We don't know ourselves well enough to pick right. Let me rephrase that. We don't know ourselves well enough to pick right. And that is what makes relationships hard, because we pick people who we probably should have never chose. Married at 21, he was 25 with three children. I was just starting my journey, and a Christian Baptist. When I met him, we married uh, within a year. Converted to Pentecostal because of him. It depends on how radical the people are with their beliefs. No, I agree with you. Depends on how radical they are with their beliefs. Okay, so you started your you were just starting your journey. So he knew you was on the journey when you guys got together. So that makes a huge difference. Yeah, we don't know ourselves, let alone another person. Marriages should not be hard. Relationships should not be hard. They really shouldn't. They should be easy. We mess them up. Look, I tell them all the time. When I was dating or married, and I ain't scared, because look, when I say stuff about Angelina, trust me, it's stuff I already done said to her. I ain't gonna say nothing behind her back. But like I told her, if this relationship ends, it'll be because you messed it up. It'll be because she messed it up. It won't be because I messed it up. It'll be because she messed it up. Now I say that, and I be joking and playing around when I say it, but one of the reasons why I do say that, and there's some seriousness to every joke. Uh, I said it, so don't even give me the minds. You both were Christian, but different denominations. You both were Christian, but different denominations. Right. Interdenominational can work easier than one person in, one person out. The reason why I always say that because I always say that the other person is going to mess it up, because I know who the hell I am. And I know what I can start doing and keep doing. I know who I'm going to be in the whole thing. I know my faults. I know when I mess up. Hey, like we were talking the other day about them 5 love languages. I'm not good at gift giving. I know I'm not, and I make it plain and clear. I'm not good at this. If this is how you need it, it ain't you gonna be upset a lot. You know, I'm very upfront about who I am. I'm very upfront about what I'm looking for in a relationship. There's no reason to guess, and there's no reading between the lines. If I'm saying that this is what I want, how I want the relationship to be, where I want to go, where I would want to live, how I want to live, things I enjoy doing, all those sorts of things, they ain't gonna change. This is what it is. This is what this is who I am. Now choose whether or not you want to be here or not. So that's why I say, if it ended, it'd be her fault, because she had early warning. She knew what she was getting into. It can be scary for people who are in organized relations with someone who is spiritual, because they will think everything is the devil. You can get better if you want to. Yeah, but no. Okay, first of all, what you said the first point, yes, it is very scary, because somebody's in a deep organized religion, they're going to say that everything they're doing, especially if the other person is deep into spirituality and they got, stones all over the house and sage in the house and, doing all this kind of stuff. That person can be very, it could be a battle, a constant battle between the two people. What you doing? You doing that evil devil work in my house, or you putting spells on the cat, and all this stuff, whatever. They got all kind of stuff going on. So the deeper the people are in the relationship, in the religions, the more difficult it could be. Now, those ones who are a little bit more shallow, it can work. And I know you're talking about I can get better at gift giving. I don't want to get better at gift giving. It's not a strong suit for me. I don't focus on making my weaknesses better. I focus on making my strengths stronger. My strengths have to be focused on being stronger. Trying to get my weaknesses stronger just makes my strengths weaker. So I mean, I know I said that like joking, but like they're serious. I don't want to get better at giving gifts. No, I want to where I'm strong at giving love. I want to get strong. My goal is to continue to get stronger at those methodologies of giving love, which is why before we even started dating, technically I just told her she's gonna date me, but before I made the declaration that she was going to date me, I let her know I am not good at giving gifts. It's not gonna get any better. I give them, but I'm not like a consistent gift giver. And whether you give me something, like if you ask me what did I give Angelina for her birthday, I don't know. I have no idea. She had on this I like Spanish skirts. She had on this Spanish skirt. And I was like, "Ooh, Spanish skirt, I like that." And she was like, "You should, you bought it for me." And I was like, but I didn't remember that I bought it for her until she said it. And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I did." That's how bad I am at giving gifts. Like I don't even remember them after I've given them, because it's just I ain't worried about that. But serving her, protecting her, being affectionate towards her, encouraging her, trying to, making her life eat, I'm good there. That's what you're gonna get. Having fun, you're gonna get it. Up for an adventure, you're gonna get it. Let's go and do whatever, you got it. Sweet nothings, you got it. And gifts, hell no. That ain't me. But I work on my strengths. I don't work on my weaknesses. No. I'd rather pay somebody to take care of my weaknesses than for me to actually work on them. I get better with my strengths, life gets better. Now, back to the matter at hand. You're, yeah, it was that dish detergent. This is an inside joke, the inside commentary. It was the dish detergent. I don't know if you switched it up on me or it just got deeper in there. My coffee was taking like soap last time I used that cup. Well, it was a different kind of soap, like regular soap. So didn't know if it was a new coffee as well. But anyway, good coffee, good coffee. Thank you for making me coffee this morning. I appreciate it. I don't know if I said that this morning. I know I said it about breakfast. I don't know if I said it about that. But anyway, when you got the interfaith thing going, right? Uh, if the person is deep into it, it's going to be harder because they, depending upon what other personality quirks they have, it makes things more difficult. For instance, when you're with somebody and they are saying that, oh, I respect yours as long as you respect mine, but then they ask you to go to their church or mosque or synagogue, and let's say you wear jewelry like this, and then all of a sudden they want you to hide your jewelry. You want me to respect yours, but you're not respecting mine. Now, some people can say, well, if you're going to respect theirs, you shouldn't wear it. The only reason that you're not wearing it is because you don't want other people to know that I don't believe in your faith. You trying to make people think that I believe in your faith by the fact of my mere presence, or you're trying to convert me on a sly tip. That's what's going on. Because if, let's say I was practicing some type of, no, so let's, I'm in a relationship with you. I do what I do. But let's say the person is Christian. If they want to wear a cross, wear your cross. You know, when I dated a young lady who practiced E5, she wore whatever she wanted to wear. She did whatever she wanted to do. Hey, we in public. You doing your thing, okay? No problem. But it's all about, if you don't respect the person doesn't respect you. It's not gonna work. If the other person got additional hangups where there are insecurities or uh, and those insecurities can come out in the fact that they want to make sure that everybody sees them a certain way, right? It's not even truly about reputation. It's about making sure that everybody thinks they're a certain category. You know, your husband was the cutting up the plants, the pants you would buy for your daughter. Why was he cutting up the pants? Oh, Pentecostal, because they don't wear pants; they wear dresses all the time. Yeah, see that kind of thing. See, like that's a problem. That's a problem because one is going to try to be dominant over the other, and there's certain things that they're going to try to push over what the other person does. Um, when one was like, "I don't like you making your videos." Okay, I go make them in the garage. I don't make my damn videos. You can cancel that. I slowed down a little bit. I did, but nah, I'm gonna still make them because of my initial reason for making them was for my kids. Uh, One young lady, I would go to church with her. I'm not really paying attention to anything that's going on in there, but I'm being respectful. I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything, and I'm taking notes. And then when I hear like, I'm reading. I'm reading a book, but then when I hear them talking about something like, what? Let me take some notes because it sounds like a video's coming. And it was cool at first until she started asking questions. And then I was like, she would ask the question. She was like, "Can I ask you a question? What were you taking notes in church for?" All right. Or what did he? She's like, "What did he say that you disagree with?" First, it started out, "What did he say that you disagree with?" And I would ask the question: Are you asking because out of curiosity that you want to know something, learn something, see something different, or are you asking because you feel some kind of way about it, like it's bothering you? And at first, it was like, "No, I just really want to know." All right. So then we go through it. And I would tell her what I disagreed with according to what they was teaching, or a different way of understanding of it, but tell them the history behind it or something like that, depending upon what it was. And then, she would ask me questions sometime about her. She would be doing some Bible study. She asked me questions from here and there, and then I would only take it to the length of what her religion, her doctrine was. But then it started flipping. Started getting on the way. So what he say wrong this time? The attitude started kicking in. So it started out like, all right, it's all respectful, but then it just changed. It changed into what he said on this time and the attitude. couldn't come into the house and say, well, Pastor said, there was this one occasion where dude was up there and he was like, I want all my business owners to stand up, please. I need all my business owners to stand up. So, we stood up. Everybody, a bunch of other people stood up. If you want your business to flourish, you need to sow an uncommon seed. That was his favorite thing, an uncommon seed. I swear I ain't never heard the term uncommon seed more times in those 5-6 years than any other time frame in my life. Everything was an uncommon seed. If if you want to make a 10,000, sow 1,000. You want to make 100,000, sow 10,000. An uncommon seed, something that you're gonna have to be worried about, something that normally you would stress about. But I don't want you to stress about it because you got to know and have faith that God got you. Sow an uncommon seed, and she wanted to sow an uncommon seed in the tune of around $3,000. And I told her, you better sit your common ass. I didn't say it that way. I just told her, looked at her. I said, are you serious? She was like, yeah. I said, you don't put that checkbook down. Because there is absolutely no way I'm about to just give $3,000 like that. And it was, those kind of things. I was like, look, you don't turn 3,000 into 9,000 by giving it to a church. You turn 3,000 into 9,000 by investing it into the business, whether it's inventory, new inventory, marketing, alterations, something that attracts the eye, that gets people in. Somebody standing on the side of the street with a damn sign or a costume on. And that's what I did. Instead of 3,000, I spent 300 on a damn popcorn costume and paid a little girl to stand out there on the corner in the popcorn outfit, and it increased revenue. And so, damn seed, uncommon seed. But those are the kind of problems that you'll have because a person of a faith is going to want to do things like that when you got some pastor who's saying this stuff. And I was like, they're not coming into my household. You trying to make this pastor rule over my house? It's not gonna happen. This is our house. We rule this joint, not them, not the outside. But when somebody's in a religion like that, it's very easy for them to allow pastor to come in and rule that house. Thank you for the stars, Margaret. Yeah, Margaret. How can two walk together unless they agree? And that's the thing. Honest, I mean, I would never recommend. I've tried it multiple times. Dating married, dating married, whichever version you want to call it, dating married, whatever you're doing. Try to do the interfaith. Uh, it's easier if you're like, say, Pentecostal and Baptist, you know, Catholic and Protestant, or Methodist. Probably Catholic and Methodist might be the closer to each other. When you're like, well, we're both Christians, we're just different denominations. That's a little bit easier because the bulk of the things y'all should agree upon. But when you're like, I'm Muslim and you Christian, nah, that's hard. That's hard. I'm Jewish and you Hindi, Jewish and Hindi. That's hard. But if you, but it's even harder if you're just spiritual and the other person is one of these top 5, 6 religions, the bigger religions. Those are going to be more difficult simply because you used to be one. Especially if you used to be one, because now whether the person admits it or not, there's a part of them that feels like they could change their mind as well, and then they're gonna feel like this whole heaven thing. You got to go to heaven with them. I remember being in counseling one time, and I was It's funny. I use this verse. I can't remember where it's at, but I remember the first time I talked about this verse. I was very upset. I was incredibly upset. I was very upset when I found out, when I realized uh, I had just got married, 19 years old, realized that the Bible says that in heaven you're not married. And that bothered me. That really bothered me. I'm serious. Like, it bothered me, like almost to tears. It bothered me. Like, what the hell? This is bullshit. Right. But then later on in counseling, about 17, well, about 10, 12 years later in counseling, the pastor was making a big deal out of, heaven and heaven and heaven and us in heaven and heaven. And I was like, well, since we're not married in heaven, so what does heaven have to do with this? In heaven, nobody is married. That's what the Bible says, right? Nobody's married in heaven. So what does this have to do with anything? But even now, anytime that when I was dating someone who might have been Christian, I was like, um, look, let's just enjoy each other here while we're on earth. You know what I'm saying? On this lifetime. If you want to date me, we just enjoying each other now. Because according to your book, you're not married in heaven. So we won't be married in heaven. This is literally when they say death do us part, you are apart from each other for all eternity thereafter, according to your book. So it don't matter. So do you want to enjoy my company or not? Simple as that. Churches are afraid to ask the question in church, but they need to know instead of just believing, and they need to do their own research. Yeah, people are afraid to ask questions in church. They always are afraid. And that's what got me in trouble as a little kid. I was asking questions. Soon as church over, Reverend Young, 2 weeks ago you said, but then I've been looking, and this is different. But it is now. It is. I don't like for it to sound all doom and gloom. There is a way to make this work. Depending upon, but now some of the process is relative to what's the religion that the other person is maintaining. That makes a big difference in how deep they're in. I wear my cross for Baron. I be hidden in plain sight, hidden in plain sight for Christians from Christians. So I guess wait a minute, Skybox Kenny. See, so you be hidden in plain sight wearing a cross so that they don't know that, so they think you're Christian. Mm, I don't know, man. I can't. I can't. Well, I guess for me, I hid for so long. I tried to make Christianity work for me for so long that and then after I got free from the church, I was dating people who was Christian, and I was trying to make things right, so I wasn't being my fullness. I wasn't walking in my fullness because I'm trying to please them. And then I just was like, after 4 years, 5 years ago, well, 5 years, six, no shit, about 7 years ago, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. You're gonna get me. If you don't like me, then oh well. You shouldn't be with me. I can't please nobody. I can just be me, and if that pleases you, great. If it don't, great. Hopefully you learn something and go find somebody else. You ain't going nowhere, Angelina, so don't even get that in your mind. Deathbed. What would say? Damn, I forgot. I had it, but I started laughing too damn soon. Deathbed final wish. She'll know what I'm talking about with them. But no, I'm not hiding. I wouldn't hide. And do you know that more and more people are falling away from, as they like to say, falling away from these religions? The number of churches are closing, across this country. Churches are closing across this country. You can wear a cross and it can have a totally different meaning for you now that I'm not a so-called Christian. The cross is just a symbol. No, you're right. The cross is just a symbol. All symbols are just symbols. Somebody tried to say something to me about symbols yesterday. And I was like, symbols mean whatever the people decide for them to mean, and then they change depending upon the culture. The hood for the KKK in America, that's a KKK, but back in the day, 500 years ago, that was for, I think, French priests. So symbols change. The swastika, most of us think about it as a German symbol, but in Buddhism, Buddhism and Hinduism, it's a symbol of peace and unity. So yeah, you're right. They all change. They all can change. I just can't wear the cross. I can wear an ankh. I can wear my little all seeing eye and pyramid, my hand of Hansama. I got some uddins, but I can't get down with that one. It's an imprisonment for me. But if it works for you, that's fine. Uh, I don't think I've never dated anybody who wanted me to wear a cross. If they did, we probably stopped dating. And look, it's hard out here for people who deconstruct because so last spring, summer, when I was just regular dating, I'm pretty much surrounded by Christians, just surrounded by Christians. And so most of the, you know, I could tell when somebody was like, right now, I'm telling you that it doesn't bother me that you're not Christian because I just really want to date you. And then, but I would recognize and be like, look, you know, your belief system, my non-belief system, is not going to work. You're trying to force yourself to be okay with it. And so I told him, it's for your own betterment. This is not going to work. It's for your own betterment because it's going to bother you. I can tell you there are little things. I've been through this plenty of time. I can tell there's some things about it. Then you're trying to force it to work, but it's not. You want a man. You think I'm a good man, which is I appreciate it. But if you continue down this journey, 4 or 5 months from now, 6 months from now, you're gonna think that I'm a bad man. And it's all because I can tell you right now, that they have a problem. It doesn't work for you. And my situation is a bit more extreme than some others because my situation is that I do this. And I can tell you, there was one person, and for some reason, damn near every time we went somewhere, I ran into somebody who followed the channel, and and it was pissing them off. And I was like, I can't help it that all these years before I met you, this is what I was doing. Get over it. A lot of people don't want to talk about this, but they were feared into believing. And I know this because that was my experience as a youngin' growing up, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one with the experience, at least. No, you're not the only one with that experience. And most people are indoctrinated based on fear tactics and things of that nature. Um, and you're groomed into it. And the parent think that they're doing good by you. They think they're doing right. Uh, they think that that's the right way for them to do it. And people get into it. The best way you should raise a child is teaching them all of it, and tell them that it is for all of them to study. It's for them to study on their own. It's not something that you should be giving them, forcing them into. And yeah, the white Jesus, Serenity. Whoo, when I tell you, I got into that Muhammad Ali level trouble when I came in there and I told the pastor and my grandparents, why is white Jesus in the house? Why is there white Jesus on this church? Matter of fact, That's idolatry. First, I hit him with the idolatry, right? I think I was like 12 years old. Hit him with the idolatry. That's the first thing. Do not make any images, graven images. Oh, but graven mean we pray to it, but you're saying that's your deity. That's an image of your deity. You know, you may not be worshiping the actual image, but you're saying that's the image of your worship. So it's your graven images. And then how this man got feet like they burning copper and hair like wool and all this kind of stuff. And how he I don't know if he's supposed to be hiding in Egypt or he in Nazareth, but he had to at least be light skinned. He had to be brown, light brown. He wasn't white. He was stuck out like a sore thumb. You know, especially if he was Hebrew. If he's Hebrew, there's a difference between the Greeks of that time frame and the Hebrew. There's a difference between the Romans of that time frame and the Hebrew. He at least would have been swarthy. I was like, hell no. That white dude is not him. And then like a year later, I find out it's Caesarea Borgia. I'm like, dude, that's one of the Pope's sons. I was like, this is some bullshit. Oh, got banned from, I think that was like the fifth church I got banned from as a kid. No, that wasn't the fifth one, because that was Pleasant Grove. So I got banned from Pleasant Grove then. So that was about the third church that I got banned from in Cobb County in Mayweather. Reverend Lockhart banned me from the church. You know, people like don't speak ill of the dead. Speaking truth, it's not ill, it's just truth. But yeah, banned me from the church because I refused to accept the white Jesus. And I didn't understand it. Like I was trying to understand the religion at the time. It says don't have any graven, don't have these images, don't build images, don't of anything in heaven and the waters below and all that stuff. And you know, there's no representation of your deity. So why y'all got it? You know, so I was having problems with that. But I can tell you one. I saw my grandfather never went to church. I do think that he believed in a creator at some point, and I do know that the real reason why he started going to church towards the end of his life is because of he became a Knights Templar, and you have to go. So that's why he went. I let my family believe that he went because he found Jesus. You know, some of the members of my family, it made them feel more comfortable. But I knew the real reason why he went. They're not going to watch this video, so I ain't worried about it. But they did what they did. They still, you know, they didn't have the best relationship in my opinion, but for their time frame, it would have been considered a good relationship, you know. But for me, it would not have been enough. I've seen other relationships where you had people of different faiths and they were married, and it works, you know. You definitely got to keep other family members out of it. Like I was training this one couple. She was Catholic and he was Southern Baptist. His parents were Southern Baptist. They hated. If you don't know anything about Southern Baptists and Catholics, that's the Hatfields and McCoys. You might well them the Hatfields and McCoys. That's warring nations right there. That's Tale of Two Cities. them and his parents is what drove the wedge. They still married to this day though, but there were moments, big moments, where it was weird to come in. Like for 6 months, it was the weirdest training time frame. Uh, because I was cool with him, but I'm cool with her, and like I'm not choosing sides, y'all. No, no. Only side I was choosing was, you know, telling them don't let this affect your children, and telling him you need to get your parents out your relationship because they drove a huge wedge because they were trying to force the kids to be Southern Baptist, and she needed to be Southern Baptist, and she had got fed up and went back to being Catholic. Why is he pouring water on those flowers? He is going to burn up the flowers. He's stupid. Hold on, y'all. No pouring that water on this time of day is going to burn the roof. All right. Okay. burn up this thing. You know, you got to have the beautification of the businesses. He's trying to burn the damn roots of the flowers up. It's too hot out there. It's already like 1100 degrees outside. Anyway, sorry about that interruption. So, you know what? I was watching them, and you know, I'm still training both of them, so I'm life coaching both of them. So of course, as you're life coaching someone, when you have different situations come up, you have to deal with those situations as well. And you know, I had to get down to their core beliefs about their religion, and so that they can see that at the core they're the same. You know, at their core. So being at their core the same, don't let all the things on the periphery mess your relationship up. But the biggest issue is that it's his parents. Your parents are driving a wedge between y'all because they're trying to force their grandkids to be Southern Baptists, and they don't like the fact that she's Catholic, and they don't like the fact that kids go to a Catholic school. You know, they're not going to the Catholic school because of Catholicism. They were going there because that was one of the best schools in their area. You know, there are tons of black folks up north, especially. They go into Catholic schools, and because it wasn't Catholic, but they went for it. They went for the education. If you can let outside people drive a wedge in there. Now there are some versions of religions that are more difficult, especially some of your heavy-handed patriarchal versions of religions. Those, oh, let's see, your J Dubs, your Mormons, your Hebrew Israelites, uh, your Southern Baptists. These are very much women stay silent. Women are beneath the man, damn near y'all property. You know, those are much more difficult to have to overcome simply because of the male dominance within those religions. If the person who is transitioning out of it is a woman, if it's a man transitioning out of those relationships, and that's why I asked Clinton earlier, is he talked that perspective from a male or a woman? But Grand Rising, Debbie and LaQuinn, if it's a male, if it's a woman that's transitioning from a religion, it's difficult. It's more difficult because these religions put so much emphasis on male leadership, male spiritual leadership, and depending upon how much of an emphasis is put on it, it makes it something that's very hard because you're going against the authority of the man. And God dang, LaQuinn, that's a lot, bro. You wrote down a lot. This this is what they mean by the lie that has been passed down, the curse that has been passed down, religion. Shit. They'd rather be indoctrinated and go to hell. You know, you'll find that most of you people do because they look at the way they look at it. They look at it differently. They look at it's the gambit is only between Christianity and say atheism. But I always throw back at them. Okay, what if the Muslims are right? Then you go to Muslim hell, right? So that changes the whole conversation. Now that little question, that conditioning stuff don't work because uh, if the Hindus are right, then you got to come back and repeat it again. If the Buddhists are right, you know, if Shinto is right, so it changes the whole paradigm when you throw it when you take it to them a little bit differently. But people will buy into it. They'd rather be indoctrinated. It feels safe for them, especially when you're surrounded by a community of other people who agree with you. Hmm. I don't want to sneeze. I might lose my soul. Children definitely make it more difficult, but we have to realize they think your eternal soul is on the line. Right. And they do. They think your eternal soul is on the line. And they are most likely not going to change that perspective of that thought if they are deep into it. Like yours is a pastor. Now I'm not saying pastors don't change, because I've seen many of pastors change their mind. I know some pastors still pastoring to this day who desire to change, but they've been pastoring and they're in one of those organizations where that's all they do is work for the church. They're like they're a Methodist. They if they leave, they go broke. So he has to stay there until he gets his retirement. I know another one because I can't. I know that if I say too much about him, there are some people who still listen to my videos. Uh, he wants to leave, but he can't. All but told me he wants to leave, but can't leave because his family, his family is dependent upon the money. Yeah, they do believe that the Christianity is right on everything, the Bible is right on everything. And if you got a person who's believing those kinds of things, then there's really no help for them. Yeah, until they start to open up their own eyes and open up their own mind, there's no help for people at all. I don't, I don't try to force people to change anything. Like, um, when I meet a young lady and we get to the point of our spirituality, which is going to happen like within the first conversation. I don't want them to change. I'm like, stay where you at. If it makes you happy, stay where you at. If it makes your world go round, stay where you at. You know, you want to hang out, you can try it, but I don't want to hear no flack. I don't want to hear nothing about my videos getting mad. You know, if you ain't strong enough in your faith that you can be around me and still stand steadfast in it, then you don't need to be around me. You need to go find somebody else to be with, because I'm just not that guy. Right? You need to go find somebody who believes the same thing you believe, and then y'all can go off and y'all can be la happy indoctrinated all by yourself. I don't say it like that to them, but I tell them, you can go off and be. I said, then you go off and you can be happy. I said, because I'm just not your guy. You And even in the spiritual community, it's not easy. It's still not easy. No, I was dating a young lady. She was in the spiritual community, but damn, she listened to those man hating black women. Let me rephrase that. She listened to those black men hating black women, and because she's listened to those black men hating black women, she was one of those black men hating black women, but she only wanted to be with a black man. And I was like, nah, that does not work. We had just as many arguments, just as frustrating arguments, and I call them arguments because she raises her voice and I don't raise my voice, and then I gotta tell her, stop raising your voice. You can't talk to me like an adult. And I'm rude with it. I won't just be like, look, I think you're getting all upset and hyped up. I think we need to take a break and calm down. I'm not. No, you raising your voice, I'm just gonna look at you. Hey, who you talking to, but you bring that shit down. You need to go sit down somewhere, because no, we're not doing it. So even in that is going to be hard, because there there might be differences within the thought process. Like, what if I start talking about Lemuria, or the Isle of Mu, the land of Mu, the continent rather of Mu, and the Lemurians and the war? And I watched Wi-Fi's yesterday. It was great. I was like, oh shit, I haven't thought about Lemuria in so long. But you start talking about different things of where we come from, and she was big on America, Black Americans. We've always been here. I was like, no, the fuck, we were not always here. Migrated here. We were here before the Europeans got here, but for eons. But still, You still have arguments over, there's still other things that are going to be different, right? That they feel just as strongly about as they would about a religion. And you kind of have to, so it's still not easy. It's still not an easy process in that. And then I met one person. She was, oh, she in the spiritual community, but she was faking it with around her family and wanted me to fake it. If I ever met her, I never met her family, but was like, but if you meet my family, then you got to tell them you're Christian and all this kind of stuff. I was like, oh hell no, you got the wrong one. I'm not gonna start lying to somebody just so that you feel comfortable. Oh, it'll break my grandparents' heart. Their just heart just gonna be broke. I would be more heartbroken if I find out that my grandchildren, which I do not have any, thankfully, oh, as they would say, thank you, Jesus. I do not have any. But if I found out them jokers been lying to me, like our relationship is that bad, that shallow, that fragile that you got to lie to me. Mm-mm. I need you to be yourself at all times. That's what I tell my kids. That's what I'm gonna tell my grandkids whenever I do get some. Turn 52 in October. I got 3 years and a few months before they can even start coming to me and say they're pregnant. Uh, Deborah says and I'm assuming Deborah, you're wow. There's only one other lady I know of with the name Deborah. She is a sweetest lady. I love her family. Um, but she hates the way that religion divides us. And I am with you 1,000. Why do we let religion? I know people like to hinge on the thing, a house divided will fall, right? I think it depends on what you're divided about. You know, a division within religion should not be a thing that divides people, that especially people that have a common enemy. Right? You got a common enemy. Your division shouldn't matter. We should be able to come together because all religions are promising things that are not apparently in the world of today. All of it is shit for later on. Shit for way in the past and shit for later on. We can have different religions but still have the same morality. So why do we have a difference? We have a difference in who's going to heaven and who ain't. Well, guess what? We'll find out when we get there. And it won't matter. But what matters right now is what we got going on right now. So why let it divide us? Even if you got two people, man, I'm talking y'all hitting on all cylinders. Y'all have the same shared hobbies. Y'all got the same goals. Y'all sex life is hitting on all cylinders. Your economics is great, and y'all just can have life fantastic. Let's enjoy this life now. Enjoy it. We can worry about heaven. You worry about heaven later. According to everybody's heaven, ain't nobody's married in heaven. So why are we making a big deal out of it? Sometimes with atheism and the theist, sometimes you have to just agree to disagree. A certain things that both of you feel very strongly. Yeah. And even in that, when you're together, you're married, you're in a relationship, just shit, let it be. Just let it ride. Enjoy it. Like, could you imagine meeting that person? Both of y'all think each other's sexy. Both of y'all like to travel to the same places, like doing the same things. Both of y'all are equal or close enough to equal in your sexual enterprises. Both of y'all are economically goaling for around the same level and got the same mindset towards money. Both of y'all are just your hobbies benefit each other and are, either coincide with each other or find each one of you find it beautiful. But y'all got a different religion. You gonna throw that away? Because most of the people you find in your religion, y'all got a bunch of problems. You got a bunch of other differences. The thing you share is the religion, but how much time do you really spend on your religion? You go to church on a Sunday or Saturday, depending on what your belief is. You go to the church, and then maybe you go to a Wednesday Bible study. But you're probably giving what out of a week, seven 7 hours of your time. But all the rest of your time, all the rest of the time, is dedicated to all these other things. So you're giving control to the smallest thing. You're making it the biggest thing. Right? The Bible tells you to hate even your family um, if you want to be with Jesus. Exactly, it does tell you that. But most of them don't even read it and know that. That's the sad part about that. Most of them don't read it, don't know it, and so they don't. And they would never not do it. They would never do that. They gonna love their mama, their daddy, their cousin, their brothers, their sisters, their kids, all that. Morality versus religion versus spirituality. Your morals are more important to me than what you believe. My question is, how do you live and treat yourself? Treat yourself and others. Exactly, serenity. Because if you go to prison and you interview those people, the overwhelming majority of them will say that they believed in one form of deity before they committed their crime. Most of your pedophiles believe in one of these major religions. Most of your rapists believe in one of these religions. Your murderers, your thieves, they believe in one of these religions before they went. Some of them find a different religion or they get deeper into their religion, they come out of it and they're a better person, but they still believed in that religion. They thought they was going to heaven. My wife is Jehovah's Witness currently. Well, first Grand Rising sackcloth. My wife was currently Jehovah's Witness, and I used to identify as Hebrew Israelite. We almost lost our marriage until we woke up from that shit and learn how to respect her view, and we are okay now. So you learn how to respect her view. So are y'all both Jehovah Witnesses now, or did y'all wake up from both, or you just woke up from Hebrew Israelite? She's still J. Oh no, you're saying she's still a JW. My bad. It's right there in the damn writing. Right. So you respect her view. So let me ask you a question though. Uh, if something were to happen to you and you needed a blood transfusion, would you get one? And how do you think that would affect your marriage? Um, do you go to assembly with her on Saturday? Do you celebrate your birthday, kid's birthday, if you got any holidays? Do you go do it by yourself, or do you just not do it? Hey, what's up, John? How you doing? Grand Rising. So when you say you respect her viewpoint, how does your respect of the viewpoint affect your participation in the marriage? You know, do you just send her off? She go do her thing. You go do your thing. But y'all are doing the majority of your thing in life that doesn't actually involve JWs, or is she deep into it? Yep. And And this is why what LaQuinn is talking about. That's one of the reasons why you have to have these conversations. They saying that a lot of them have chastised you based on these religions, um, and you need to talk to your person before you get involved in religion. As how are you going to how are you going to raise your kids? How are you going to live your life? How deep is this religion going to cut into some of the things that you define as moral or immoral? I can't hop you on YouTube. I can only do that on TikTok. I don't know if you have a TikTok account. But if you got a TikTok account, yeah, come on over to TikTok. Let me know it's you, and we can pop you in. In order for me to do that on YouTube, I would have to use my Zoom account, and it's like a 2 minute delay. Quite irritating. But what was I saying? But yeah, if you you have to have these deep, honest conversations, and then that's the thing. The conversations have to be completely honest, knowing that it can go left or right, and you have to be fine with it going left or right. You know, it'd be great if you already know what the outcome is going to be, but you don't. And how much love the people have between them, how much respect the people have between them, is really going to determine whether or not it can work. She's still in, but she's not as dedicated as she thinks she is, and that's actually helpful to the survival of your marriage. Okay, why you got two people on Facebook and they don't have TikToks? I thought everybody not jumped over to TikTok, but everybody don't. We all have our reasons. But can those two people respect each other? Can y'all get along? You know, you was coming from, and actually, it would be cool for you to come on here because you'll be able to help me out a lot, bro. Sackcloth, because all the Hebrew Israelites I know of are overly male dominant towards their women, and having your being a Hebrew Israelite and your woman wants to transition and deconstruct out of it, you know, it's not only the fact of the religion, but it's also the pressure from the other men in your religion. How you let your wife do that? You're not running your house. You're not ruling your house. Just like the Bible said, you can't bind a strong man's house until you first bind a strong man. So the devil must have come in and bound you that your wife can step away from you and step away from the true religion like this. You know what I'm saying? You see how they can all that pressure from the church, from the organization, mess up your marriage. You know, and some men will escape it. Like I know this is a horrible example. Um, yeah, that would be cool if you was on the right platform. I gotta figure there is a way on YouTube. It says YouTube together, but you have to pre-invite the person to do it and set it up that way. So it has to be intentional from earlier, from the beginning with YouTube. I don't think I can go back and change it. Mute microphone, share highlights. Nope. You was a rogue Hebrew, was never attached to the camp. Yeah. Ooh, nope, that's not. That's something different. Hmm. Super chats. Nope, can't do it while I'm in it. I was trying to see if I can do that YouTube together thing while I'm in it, but it doesn't allow for that. Do y'all remember Waco, Texas? There was one of the things about the David Koresh in Waco, Texas, was that he had told all the men, he had these people believe they was, 10 toes down. But when he told them that because he's Jesus, and the Bible says that all of the bridegroom is Jesus, he said that all of the women were married to him and that he was the one supposed to be procreating with all these women, and you guys are no longer married, and he dissolved their marriages. But it was one couple, it was one man said bullshit, a bullshit, and they left. So that man respected his marriage more so than the being David Koresh, Waco, Texas, and this good thing he did because they didn't die in the fire. Question: why do people slash Christians? Why do people slash Christians? Stop moving. Want to be honest in these types of things. Christians, why don't people Christians be honest in these types of things, issues, situations of life, especially having to do with their belief? I don't get the pushback, the unease. I would think they would be happy to get out of that stuff. When you've been indoctrinated into these religions from birth, and then you use every experience you had since the age of like 12 to justify the indoctrination, you have not only been, as Debbie is saying, been mind controlled, you are constantly brainwashing and mind controlling yourself, right? Sorry, remember they see. I don't know what you mean by that one, John. But you brainwash yourself as well. You've convinced yourself through life experience that this religion is correct because it provides a scapegoat for almost everything that happens. Something great happened in my life. It's because of my prayer, my faith to Jesus. Something bad happened in my life. God has taken me through a season for me to learn something so that I can be a stronger faith warrior for Him. That just those two things right there can put a person in a constant spin of thinking that this religion is true. So it doesn't matter that you show them where these writings came from, the fake. Like I did a video a while back, long time ago about Paul and the back versus the back eye, and it didn't. It doesn't matter that you can show them that the whole narrative of Paul is a copy that was about somebody else from 400 years ago. Those things wouldn't matter. What's Grand Rising Raquel? They still gonna stick with it because I was in a car accident and I walked out scot free. I know that God saved me. I know God exists because I walked out of that accident. Tornado, what we was talking about yesterday, since the hailstorm had hit at, which must have only was right here at my building, because people 5 miles away was like, we ain't getting none. But you got people say that, oh, the tornado hit. No, better one. There's a video that Angelina sent me where this lady was like, look at how everything in Hawaii was burned up, but God's house never caught on fire. Like he protected his house. Oh, but he let all the other shit around him burn up, kill all them other people. But they'll justify their religion based on that, and they'll just keep doing it. And pretty much they got the initial brainwashing, but now the brainwashing is self-induced. Yep. Or the devil made me do it. They don't use the devil made me do it too often or too much because of the criminalities that have happened because of that. I don't know if these people claim that, but like if Son of Sam or Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't know if they claim the devil made me do it. But you have situations where people have claimed that and they've done these crimes and they don't want to be associated with that. Hell, Jeffrey Dahmer was Christian. Of course, a Christian would say he's not a real Christian. But Jeffrey Dahmer could have found Jesus while he was in jail. And now he's gonna be in heaven with the rest of y'all. Saying, I know them 12 trees produce fruit annually, but oh old Jaquan over there, because he like dark meat. Old Jaquan over there. look kind of tasty. Now we're having a population decrease here in heaven. I don't know what's going on. But you know Jeffrey's here. Go check with Jeffrey. Look in his refrigerator. We're seeing some massive declines as well. Well, you know, old Adolf, he's a Christian too, so he's up here. Go check with Adolf. I'm just saying, these people are supposed to be up there with him. I don't think I want to go to a place where a person who can commit all these atrocities for throughout their life and they get to go to heaven just because they had a change of heart at the end. A bullshit. A bullshit. I'm not going with that one. I refuse to accept it. That in itself was enough for me as I start. There are a bunch of reasons why I was like, "Well, that's good enough. Well, that's good enough. Well, that's good enough." But it all just culminated. Uh, but that those reasons enough for me is enough for me to have to say, "Nah, I can't do this religion. This religion's jacked up. Y'all letting anybody in. Y'all got some horrible bouncers. It's like Peter's at the gate. You ever seen one of those houses where there's a gate and then there's no walls? Like I used to pass this house when I was coming from a different direction to get to work. And I always laughed when I saw the gate, but there's no fence, no wall after the gate. Like, there ain't even a ditch. Okay, what you stopping? If I wanted to rob you, it's not like I'm like, oh shit, we got the gate in closed. And, I can't drive across the grass. That's just ridiculous driving across the grass. I mean, that's St. Peter now. He got a gate. He ain't got no walls. So they just going around. Jeffrey, like I know how to get there. Come on, Adolf. Come on. David Koresh, come on. Come on. We got ways to get around here. Jim Jones. Man, you was good. Come on. Come on. Son of Sam, what up, bro? What up, bro? Keep it low, stay back though. Don't get too close. Yeah. They just going around the gate. I can't get with that. Revelation of Ren 360. Man, all right, Skybox. Y'all keep on playing with me. I start a religion up in this joint. Write a better Bible. But no, it just doesn't work that way. I can't get down with that. And they're gonna stay kind of stuck in those religions until something happens. Most people have to experience something in order to make a change. Uh, they have to feel some level of pain. That's what most people do. Some people, it can be a culmination of small things that makes them start looking at things differently. You know, for my kids, it was just study. And it ain't like my kids study like I do. I only got one of my children that studies somewhat like I do. The other two, they study just a little bit. Hell, I found out that they listen to this. They've been listening to some of this, and this and was never telling me about it when they was in their teens. Uh, I just found out one of my little cousins that he been listening for a couple of years now. For two of my little cousins, which I was shocked that their mama let them listen. But big up Lord and King, and that's another thing. How do people not see the correlation between Christianity/religion and the one world order? Heaven sounds just like the new world order to me. You'll be with the ruler that you're going to be praising and worshiping every day for eternity, day in and day out. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I didn't, thank you, Debbie, I did not want to go to heaven, and I wanted to be bad and get me a good job in hell, because worship and praising all day, that's hell. That's a prison in itself. Now, we discussed a little bit yesterday. I think a one world order would be great, personally. But I do understand what you're saying, LaQuinn. I get what you're saying. Um, that kind of a one world order under Christianity, no, that would be I'd be great. But I do think this planet would be better off if it would end war and we'd be able to share resources better and actually progress as people if we weren't too busy fighting for our separation. Sometimes it's even harder to be friends with people of other faiths on deep levels because they think you are arrogant and choosing and for not choosing their faith. This is true. I've actually see I try to think about these things and not think about me and my life. Like I've never had problems with my family, uh, for the most part. Nothing major. I've my friends, and I only have a few friends because everybody can't be my friend. You gotta earn that right. We don't have any problems. I'm good. You know, with it. I've never had problems with that. But people have told me about their problems and how people have treated them and all these sorts of things. These jokers in here who come in here, they know where I stand on these things. And let me tell you, it's crazy. Sometimes when we get like a new person who comes in here, and like there was this new guy who was in here a couple of weeks ago, and we was all just talking about relationships at first, and then he started throwing all the Jesus stuff in there, but he didn't go too deep, so I wasn't going to say much. But other times, these jokers be looking at me and they be Christian, and they be looking at me like, get it, get it, get it. I was like, y'all wrong. I'm not y'all puppet. So I haven't had those experiences, but I've heard people, I've talked to people, I've counseled people who went through those kind of things. And yes, they can be that way. And that's usually some kind of fear within them, you know, of I need everybody to agree with me in order for me to be in agreement with this, with my own religion. And it's a sad thing because you should value the character of the person more so than the beliefs of the person. Even though it boggles my mind as Quinn, look, I mean, LaQuinn, stop talking about it. No, I ain't gonna say stop talking about it. But LaQuinn has brought it up multiple times about he'll put Christian slash flat earther. I could, flat earth theory gets on my nerve, but I could be cool with somebody who is a flat earther as long as they're not obnoxious. That's a fire book title. A better Bible by Coach Renz. You're, where you're critiquing the Bible and other religions. Stop it, Skybox. Because I'm telling you right now, I would require a ghostwriter. Even though I can write it myself, I just ain't got time. Well, in a socialist type of way, yeah, I wouldn't mind a new world order. Yeah, I can get with that. In a socialist type of way, I can deal with it. Even if the government was capitalist, it would still have a socialist nature. Because we're like a socialistic capital, we're like a capitalistic socialist country in itself. You can't have pure capitalism. There's no such thing like a pure capitalism. Just like Russia and China is not pure communism. They're communistically capitalist. You're always going to have government intervening to help people and keep fairness in the world. But yeah. Oh, there you go with that AI thing, Chat GPT. I'm gonna have the AI write the book for me. Now, actually, that was a way that I was writing. The current book that I'm so called working on is I was using. I first started. I tried to use this talk to write program, but it wasn't that great back then. In 2017, it wasn't really good. And yes, I started writing this book in 2017. I ain't finished. It's sad as shit, but um, I did tell myself I'm gonna finish it before this year is out. Uh, but yeah, I mean, relationships should be based on the characteristics and actions of the people involved. It should not be based on what you believe. You know, And now, if your beliefs are affecting how you respond and react and treat people, as it's going to, but if it's not causing you to, there's nothing in it that should cause you to respond to people negatively. You should respond to them with, you know, with at least peace, right? It'd be perfect if you and your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, believed the same thing, because that is something that would make that connection easier. But let's be real, your beliefs do not really rule your life in a way that your moralities are offsetting each other. Like, it's not like they're saying, let's go and uh, we gotta sacrifice our firstborn. You're not doing that. Now, some of them will be a little bit difficult. Although any Abrahamic religion is supposed to still be doing animal sacrifices, but in our cultures today, it will be difficult for an Ifa person to be with someone of those religions. The young lady I dated for about 2 weeks, who was Ifa, and then we just became friends after that. She would tell me how her previous guy, her previous boyfriend, he was, straight up Christian, and he struggled with her practice of animal sacrifices. And that is one of the things that ultimately broke them up. Those kind of things are difficult because the belief is causing an action that you culturally abhor. So that's not gonna work. You know, the burning of sages, making of tinctures, casting the palm nuts, and doing the readings, and her daily devotion to her altars. That stuff didn't bother him too much. It was the animal sacrifice. Yeah. And then, of course, from that, you start other problems seem bigger. But, when we were in that small time frame of dating, I was like, hey, do your thing. I don't particularly care for it, but I'm not gonna judge you for it. If that's your religious belief, if that's your faith, that's your belief, then do your thing. I was like, I want a reading though. I want to do a reading. I want my own reading because I just wanted to see. I'm curious. I don't know. You know. And I was gifted some priestly robes, and I'm mad that somebody stole them because it was nice, straight from Nigeria, priest of Eshu. But you know, if it's something like that, that's hard. But when you're like a J Dub and spiritual, yeah, there's smaller things. Maybe you burn sage, maybe you don't. Maybe you burn incense, maybe you don't. Maybe you have an ancestry altar, maybe you don't. You know, it could be some small things that could be a nuisance, but they're kind of minor. Have your own room where you do your thing. Like I have a meditation room. I don't care what Angelina does to 99% of that house. Do whatever she wants in that house. Decorate it however she want to decorate it, whatever she want to do. But that meditation room, that's different. Now, if a person walks in there and is like, oh, I just couldn't. You got the hands of Hansama. You got all these other symbols up here. You got this chakra stuff and bowls, and you got this hermetic stuff up here and all that. See, they came in with all that. And I'm like, you know what? There's this thing called the front door. I need you to see what it looks like from the outside. See what it looks like from the outside. You might enjoy that. You need to go down. Check it out. Check it out. That's right. Take me as I am or not at all. I didn't pass. I didn't pass the class on kissing. Right. Yeah, like a man cave. My meditation room is my man cave. I just don't go in there with shoes on. Keep your shoes, tracking the world into my room. Oh yeah, Christians should love sacrifices since the book is filled with animal sacrifices, but our culture doesn't allow for Western culture doesn't allow for animal sacrifice. So and those were things written when people were agrarian. You know, these jokers ain't doing that today. Driving around their cars, they working in offices or working from home. You got time to be going out there getting a goat and closing the ears over the goat, taking the ears and putting it over the goat's eyes, hold it by his head, and then and then got to skin it, gut it, cut off these certain pieces and parts, and then do all your depending upon what your religion is. Then you got a whole bunch of other things you do to it. They not gonna go home and do that. Boy, Peter would be on their ass. The Humane Society be on their. That's inhumane. Slaughtering that poor animal for your religious freedoms. Okay, come on. We finished doing that. Let's go to McDonald's. People don't mind. People don't mind the long if they ain't got to see the slaughtering, they sure will go eat the animal. Well, the Jews still do it today. Who is the Jews? Yes, America is fighting them on it. But you still practice. But you still practice animal sacrifice in the public and their own company. They don't. They don't do children, but they do animals. Oh, Jews. I didn't know that they were still doing it. I was told by a Jewish dude about 20 years ago that they don't do animal sacrifices right now because the temple in Jerusalem hasn't been rebuilt, so they can't do animal sacrifices. Um, but there is some like there's one dude or a group of dudes who do the animal sacrifice for all the Jewish people around the world. But I'm not sure. I was just told that, and I was like, okay. Oh yeah, some chickens, some hens, some goats, some lambs. They still doing their animal sacrifice. Hell, they sacrificing the most important piece of meat, which is their brain. Sacrificing their brain every goddamn day. But when you're in their relationships, that's what those are the things you just got to come to an agreement on. I mean, if you think about it, everybody says don't murder, don't steal, don't kill. Everybody says that you should be respectful to your parents and your elders and to your spouse and to your children and um, just you live. Matter of fact, let me just strip that. You live in a culture. If you're both are born American, both of y'all have American cultures. You might have differences depending upon where parts of America, like all like them aggressive ass northern people compared to the more chill southern people, to the even chiller west coast people. You got different cultural mindsets, and that's about it. But for the most part, if you're born in a Western country, you're gonna have more similarities, than you have differences in the things that matter. So that's what they can't wrap their mind around animal sacrifice. No, they can't. They struggle with that because culturally we struggle with it. I didn't have a problem with it. Um, well, I can't say it. I had a problem, didn't have a problem. It was like, all right, I think it's unnecessary, but it's your religion, so I'm gonna respect it. But I don't think it's necessary. And then it was supposed to have been like a goat. For my reading, it was supposed to have been a goat, a rooster, and two hens. But after the goat and the rooster was done, um, she did something to read the tea leaves or the palm nuts, and it was like, since the Odu was accepted, the other two sacrifices were not necessary, and I was relieved. Um, Nah, people don't have a problem eating animals, but they don't have a problem hunting animals and mounting their heads on walls. Ain't got a problem fishing. Poor little fish that's minding his own business, ain't bothering nobody down there in the water. Talking about something, I'm just swimming, swimming, swimming. What do we do? Swim. Enjoying himself. Y'all dangling hooks, snatching them up by their lips. And they trying to run away, and you just snatching their lips. It's cruel. And then you throw them back. At least have the decency to take him home and eat it. You know, but I understand. We all have our things. See, that's why I like if let's say Angelina was an avid fisher person. Do you call fisher women fishermen, or do you just work around them like she's an avid? Is it a fisher? Can you be a fisher? Is that? I don't know what the right terminology would be, politically correct. But like she was an avid fishing person, fish woman, fisher, fisher woman. Like we can still get along. I just be like, I'm not going with you. But if she had to have somebody that goes fishing with her all the time, then it's like that's gonna be a problem because I ain't going. She was gonna sacrifice the whole Sunday dinner. Oh yeah, oh yeah, shit. It was the thing about it. After it's sacrificed, you boil it, put it out on the outside on the back porch, and if it's gone by the next day, then the Orisha consumed it. Kind of like how Christians throw things on the fire and let it can be consumed by their deity. Of course, I'm sure that there was the dogs from behind on the fence, over the fence. They probably jumped that fence to get there, or dug under there. A fisherer, an avid fisher. That would be the best way I would say it. But oh, that fly from yesterday. I'm thinking it's the same fly from yesterday. Still here. You know, so we have to open this door to let the window, let the smoke out. But yep, it was a whole Sunday dinner though. But we didn't. It wasn't. I did have there was no. There was some portions of it I had to consume. So let me correct some of that. Some portion of it I did have to consume. At first, I thought she was saying that I had to eat the whole damn goat. I was like, I lost your mind. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna eat a whole goat. That's a lot. So she was like, no, you ain't got to eat a whole goat. You just got to eat like some of it. So I ate some of it. It was cooked up. It was good. You know, I ain't Caribbean, so I ain't too keen on the spices. Some of them spices is a little too much spice for me, but I ate a little goat, little goat. I'm sure the dogs and stuff ate the rest. Um, at that time frame, I hadn't been eating meat I hadn't had any meat for like 6 months or so. So it was, I felt so heavy and weighed down. But that's what it is. It's all about, let's say, things we would have kept dating or whatnot. It would have just been about mutual respect for what she does and what I do, you know. And she actually loved what I do. And when we would be out somewhere, even when we was just friends and we would be out somewhere, she would literally start a discussion with some people just so that she would get me caught up into a debate with people because she liked seeing that. And I used to be like, you're a problem child. Stop starting stuff. And then if you guys were watching the videos back then, the lives back then, sometimes I would get distracted because she'd be over in the corner doing stuff purposely to see if she can distract me. So, and so there was enjoyment there. It was fun. That's why we became friends. That's why we stayed friends even after that 2 weeks, and then realizing that dating is not going to work, but friends we could do. And because we still had those things in common that were attractive in the beginning, right? But then there was a couple of deal breakers, and so it was like, well, that ain't gonna work. But luckily, those things were discovered early enough that you can still be cool with the person. It's problematic when you discover these deal breakers long after you've already got all emotion. Because in 2 weeks, I'm not emotionally attached to you. You ain't emotionally attached to me. You know, I'm freaking awesome and great, but I'm not that great. That in 2 weeks you can be like, oh, Coach Renz. Well, you wouldn't be calling me Coach Renz. Oh, Renz, you just stole my heart. You're just so wonderful. That ain't happening in 2 weeks. If a woman told me that in 2 weeks, I'd be like, okay, she must be in love with the fact that I own this cigar lounge. It's something. She must be about to be homeless, and she needs a place to live. You know, she a hobosexual. You know, that's what I'm gonna start thinking. Cause it ain't that great. No, you start telling me in 2 weeks. Oh, I just love you. What the hell? You don't even know me. You tell me in 2 weeks. So it was cool. That was one thing that was cool, Skybox. So one of the things about the Orishas is some of them love cigars. Yeah, I would run too, David. Some of them love cigars, and when I did my reading, I was just, I just want to know what my Orishas were, but they told me a bunch of other things, and I was like, oh, cool, because she had another guy come in there and he participated, and he actually did the reading. She didn't do it, and even though she was the high priest in her Ile, but when it came out, the dude was just like, he's like, have you been? He didn't know me, so he was like, have you been practicing? How long have you been practicing Ifa? And I said, dude, I'm just not learning about Ifa really. I've never really practiced Ifa. Uh, and he was looking, and basically, long story short, the one part of the reading, he was like, you are a priest of Eshu. You've already been a priest of Eshu and all this stuff, right? And then when I was learning about Eshu, and Eshu, he loves his cigars. I was like, I like this dude. I claim him. When I meet somebody in E5 and we start talking about Orisha, I'm like, yeah, my primary Orisha is Eshu. He's a priest of, actually was, declared a priest of Eshu. Because their primary Ile was in Nigeria, in Ibadan, and that dude did one. When she went there, he did one concerning me, and then sent priest of Eshu robes with her back, and was like, he don't have to go through all the other stuff, the indoctrination, the trials, or whatever the hell. He's a priest of Eshu now. I was like, but damn, give me that cigar. And it made sense to a certain degree, because Eshu is about the crossroads and about connecting things and people together, and it may not all, and oftentimes it's in an odd way. So I studied Eshu for a little bit, for about a good 6-8 months. I didn't study the other Orishas, just Eshu, but he's pretty cool. I like Eshu. I claim him. The fact that he loved them cigars. And then there was another Orisha, female Orisha, that was part of that reading, and she liked cigars too. Can't remember who she was, which one it was. I know some of these people be lying. Oh, my Orisha is Oshun. Yeah, that's just, Oshun is popular. That's why you claim it Oshun. My Orisha is Mama Wata. They're just popular. That's why you claim it Mama Wata. Yeah. Mine is Shango. Actually, I ain't gonna lie. I was hoping my Orisha would have been Shango, the Thunderer. Yeah. That's what I wanted. I wanted Shango. You know, if he would have said it was Shango, I'm telling you, boy, I would have been like, he said SU. I was like, what? That dude talk a lot. He be tricking people into understandings. I don't want to be him. And then he told me about the cigar part, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe SU is a good dude, but I can see it. But anyway, uh, getting off. Well, hell, it's after 12:30. We can talk about anything. Y'all start laughing at me. But of course, I look at it the same way as I look at every religion. It's a whole bunch of stories people created in order to explain nature around them. There are certain things about it that have kernels of truth, but most of it is mythological beings or legendized beings, and you're just trying to explain how the universe came into being, who we are, who you are, how we developed, or some other previous civilization that survived survived the Younger Dryas and now reinvigorating man. But um, it is nothing. I don't believe. Anytime you tell me I got to pray to somebody, that's where you not lost me. That's where your religion. That's when it now went into some kind of um, woo woo kind of thing. Because you ain't got to pray to nobody. If you're looking for somebody to come and save you, then you're unsavable. The only person who can save you is you. That's it. Nobody else. Just you. I don't need I don't need somebody to come and teach me morality, save me, and oh, the only way I can not be evil and shit is if I, you know, don't do this or don't do that because this book is telling me not to. And the only reason I'm not doing it is because I want to make sure I go to heaven and not hell. How about I don't want to kill you because I don't want to go to jail? I don't want to kill you because I don't want other people trying to kill me. So I wouldn't want to go through that experience. So no, I don't want my kids growing up without their father. So no, and your kids still need you. My daughter called me yesterday because she finally got a job in IT because she was trying to change careers. So I was, you know, had helped her along that pathway. She still needed her dad, and she's, um, you know, she was like, so now I'm getting paid X amount of dollars. How do I need to do my W-4? Do I need to change my W-4? Do I need to leave my W-4 the same? How's it gonna impact my taxation? Because you got to do my taxes at the end of the year. So your kids still need you for various different reasons. So I'm not gonna kill somebody and take away some other kid's father or some other kid's mother, brother, sister, cousin, because I don't want that to be done to my family. You know? Can y'all imagine how wrecked, how emotionally distraught, how depressed, how unlivable life would be for Angelina without me? I mean, her whole life would just fall into shambles. She wouldn't know what to do with herself. She would probably go to the edge of a cliff and cast herself off of it if I wasn't here. So why would I go kill somebody and take that chance, that opportunity away from her? Because without me, her life, it would be a shadow of a being that had the desires of great things, but now all those desires have just been washed away, and she will live the rest of her life in despair, wishing and wondering what could have been, and contemplating always what was, and the delight of her life as this year has been, for a year and a half of knowing me, year of dating me, have been the most wonderful year of life that she's ever experienced, bar none. Why would I risk hurting someone that way? I was waiting for you to say something. I knew you were gonna say something. It's true though. It's true. And then think about all of y'all. The rest of y'all lives will be thrown in the crapper if it wasn't, if I were to pass away right now, if I were in prison right now. Where would you go? What would you do? You would all just mentally fall apart and go back to religion. You would be like, oh, Coach Renz is gone. I'm going back to Christianity. I'm going back to Islam. I'm going back to being a Hebrew Israelite. Or I'm going to join the J Dubs because I don't have Coach Renz anymore. You know, somebody's gonna be watching this later and they're gonna be like, man, what he got in that cigar? What he smoking in that cigar? Cause that ain't a regular cigar. Have they come out with the weed cigar yet? Which I'm gonna be very mad when they do. I'm gonna be mad when they come out with that. Yeah. So, I can't go nowhere. I can't kill nobody. My morality is like, well, I don't want that done to me, so I'm not gonna do it to anybody else. Just like, okay, Angelina said it's so dramatic, right? All the dramatics. Yes, all the dramatics. Because you know why all the dramatics? One is just part of who I am. But two, I hate watching informative videos that I really want to hear this information, but the video is so dry. These two dudes were doing a video and it was so many ums and ums and ums, and it was so dry and so monotone. And I was just like, I really want to hear this. The author that he's interviewing has great information, but I couldn't. I lasted about 15 minutes, and I was like, I can't do it. This video is almost 2 hours long, and no, I couldn't do it because I want the dramatics, so I have to give the dramatics. But that's how we should be. That's our standards of life should be that way. You should be exactly what you want to receive in life. You want to have fun in life, then you should be a fun person. If you want to be an intellect, then you should be around intellectual people. If you want to feel safe, then be around people who also want to feel safe and protect. You know, if you want to be poor, be around other poor people. If you want to be middle class, be around other middle class people, and so far and so on up the chain. Whatever it is that you have in your morality, your standards, that's what you should go and be around, but you should be that yourself. Yeah, it's like trying to watch a movie that's boring. I'm not going to watch it. And y'all know how much I love my movies. My movies got to entertain me, which I might watch that movie that somebody suggested. I don't know if it was last week. Yeah, I think it was last week. Contract. Alien Contract. Since I watched Prometheus, might as well keep going with the alien thing. Uh, uh, there are 3 episodes of Billions out. Somebody need to, get over here so we can watch Billions, the new Billions. I likes my money, so um, yeah. That golden rule: do unto others as you will have them do unto you, is what you should do. Alien Covenant. Okay, that's what it's called. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Marcus. Wait a minute. Are you Mr. Marcus? All right, Marcus Bennett. Are you Mr. Marcus? I don't know if you know what that means. I just had to say it. I've been wanting to say that ever since I first saw your name. Oh, hey man, I'm just having some fun. It's Friday. I was here to midnight last night. I'm gonna be here to midnight tonight. I'm trying to get somebody to watch the lounge for me tomorrow night. Um, trying not to be here. Don't tell Angelina that though. That I'm trying to get somebody to watch the lounge for me tonight. I mean tomorrow night. See, now that fly got bold. He went all up by my ear, buzzing and everything. Are you referring to the movie Boomerang? Nope. How old are you, Marcus? But You know what? That's close, but depending on how old you are, it's a different reference. It'd be past that time frame. Well, it's within that time frame, but also past it. Different genre. I know. People like Marcus Darling, but 31. Yeah, you probably might. Yeah, you probably don't know what you wouldn't know the reference. So I'll go ahead and tell you. There was there was a very famous 90s, 2000, 2010 porn star named Mr. Marcus. So, but please don't be insulted by that. I hope you're not insulted by that. But I think his name was similar to yours as far as your last name as well. That's why it popped in my head. Okay. Humanist, anti. I am a free thinking humanist, definitely anti theist. Karma exists. There's a third choice. It's called self-choosing. Neither heaven nor hell, but your own journey of enlightenment and wisdom. That's what LaQuinn just said. And I'm this fly. Angelina, you need you to kill this fly when you get here. Because you seem to be the only one who can catch these jokers. I be missing every time. Um, but no, we should be free thinking. It's good to be a free thinker. And your journey, you're absolutely right. Your journey is your own journey. Nobody else's but yours. Nobody else can commit themselves to your journey. Nobody is going to. Your journey is your personal journey is what's going to bring you enlightenment. You could it could look similar to other people in certain ways, and you can be shared, and y'all can have a shared universe for a while. But even within that shared universe, there are still certain things that are going to speak to you to move you in that pathway of your journey that won't speak to somebody else. So we have to like karma. I don't get down with karma. The reason why I don't get down with karma is twofold. The first fold in karma is that you are here to satisfy your struggles, your suffering that you're going through now is because you have to satisfy a dharma of your previous life. Okay, so when was my first life? What happened in my first life? What dharma did I have to satisfy in my first life? You know what I'm saying? So that's one reason. And maybe it's you had your first life, you had your first opportunities, and you messed up some stuff, and that's why you had to come back because now you've created your dharma. So I can understand that aspect of it, and then that would justify karma. But how many lives? How many times you that becomes this never-ending cycle because even in this life, you've done some things that will create more dharma for you to have to satisfy in another life. So you still got to come back again, and it's like this. It's the infinity of back in this life. But I do understand the eightfold path, and you have to open your raise your kundalini, rise to the Buddha head. I get all that part too. So it's a lot to it. The other part is you can see some people do some evil shit and still and get away with it. And we can always be the other side of that is they may be getting away with it in this format from what we see, but yet be internally suffering or some other suffering on that side of the fence. That's a good argument as well, but I don't know. I just it's the satisfying the dharma part that really bugs the shit out of me. That's the becoming me, my higher self. I'm with you on that one. My I is the me that I am becoming. We talked about that when we was going through the Kabbalion. Um, higher self in my aging process, things, structures like religion, Christianity, seek, dampening, smooth, demonizing are the adverse to that type of thinking. Yeah. This, he ain't been bothering me the whole time. Now, as Angelina has called him the Jesus fly, is acting a fucking fool. Ah, energy can either be created and destroyed, right? Right. And we should. We all have the right to agree or disagree. And you know what? We can still be cool whether we agree or disagree because everybody has their own path. See, I don't think I have to satisfy a Dharma. I just have to raise my consciousness, which does find its way in that same line of thinking. I'm just excluding the Dharma part. But in raising my consciousness, there's a higher morality that you have to have in order to raise that consciousness. So it's still, we still kind of on the same thing. All right, get rid of all the noise, the influences, get rid of all your pain, your guilt, your fear, your shame, all those things. Overcoming all those challenges. Get to know who you are, know yourself, and like in the Marine Corps, we have a teaching when in leadership training, which is to know yourself and seek self improvement. Like you can't be a leader unless you know who you are and then constantly seek self improvement. And it's a continuous process. The better you do that, and the more often you do that, the better leader you become, and the better person you become. That's the idea of it all. Does every Marine do it? Hell no. Does everybody who is in leadership is doing that? Hell no. But that is the concept. Actually, that's something that I got to write today. And I'm glad. Thank you, LaQuinn, because that's something that I have to write today. I had my leadership program on my old computer, but I can't access my old computer, and it's not in any of my emails. So I have to write. Now I got to restructure and redo my leadership training program, especially before I go out here and use that 100% VA and change my company to a disabled minority veteran company. Oh, whew, my back hurt. This chair is. But with that, it's 11:50, almost 1 o'clock. We're gonna get off a little bit earlier today because I got some things I want to take care of beforehand, which the program I just said. So I got to write that up, and it'll take me just today to write it. So I appreciate you guys, and we may do tomorrow because the only reason we may do tomorrow is because Angelina has to go somewhere tomorrow morning, and so I'll be by myself. So we might do a live tomorrow. So I don't know if you guys be up at 10 o'clock, but if you are up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, 10:30, we might have a live. I got to find out what Angie's schedule is though. If her schedule, if she's back by 10 o'clock, we ain't doing nothing because Saturday morning is her mornings. She gets my Saturday morning, Saturday and Sunday mornings. So beyond that, you guys have a great day, and we'll see what tomorrow holds. Uh, and I will be putting out some other videos today, and then Monday we'll be back. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as we always are. So I hope that today has been enlightening for you guys, that we've learned some things, that as you are looking and evaluating your relationships, that you are more focused on the character of the person, not on some religious hang up, but that you look at the person for who they are and look at yourself for who you are. Make better choices in who you decide to be with. If you're already with someone and y'all are struggling, no matter what format, no matter what you're doing that's causing that struggle, you can hire Coach Renz, sure. But if you don't, hire somebody. Hire somebody to help you have that look into your relationship. And so you can grow your relationship and get better at your relationship. Your kids are going to leave you. Your parents, you left your parents. Your siblings are living their own life. Everybody is living their own life. That person who says they want to be with you for the rest of your life, that's the only person who's saying they want to be with you but until you die. Put emphasis on that person and that relationship. That's where your emphasis should be. Not on a religion, not on money, not on anything. Y'all coming together in as many areas as possible. That's where you should be. And for those things that you don't, have respect for the other person and how they view it, how they see it, how they do it. As long as it doesn't interfere with your top things, then let it be. If it's something, and religion is not a top thing for most people, you're only spending about max 6, 7, 8 hours a week dealing with religion. The rest of your freaking life, you are spending most of it working, a large chunk of it sleeping, and then you have this other chunk that is dedicated to that person. Y'all are doing whatever hobbies, whatever things you enjoy, conversations, places that you go. Those are the things you're spending most of your time doing with that person. Y'all are not sitting around talking about Jesus, talking about Allah all goddamn day. So why are you using that as a scapegoat for you to break up a relationship when you know that that person is great for you and you're great for them? Many relationships are will end because, oh, you got to be in the same religion. Don't do it. Don't let that be the break in your relationship. But at the end of the day, if the person can't handle that, then let them go. Free yourself and go and then when the right person comes, meet the right person, go have a wonderful life with that person. Go have a wonderful life with that person. Okay? Because you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non negotiable. The journey, good vibrations, and we are Audi 500. That's way back in the day right now. But the Audi 500. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all young.